Uagadou School. Sorry if I mispronounced it. I'm probably going to do it throughout the entire video. But that's how we're choosing to say it here, the Uagadou School. Straight out of the heart of South Africa.
When the sun rises in Africa, you better be running.
This school in the wizarding world is located in the mountains of the moon. Okay, obviously it's an amazing name of the location of the school down in Africa. The edifice is carved out of mountainside and shrouded in a mist. Okay, this school is a very unique looking school. It looks as if it's simply floating in midair due to the mist that surrounds the lower cavities of the mountainous area. Very unique school from the location standpoint, and we're going to get into a little bit more unique things about this school that no other school actually does in the wizarding world. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Press Paws. Really appreciate you tuning in for this video on our series of Hogwarts schools. Obviously, we know it is hard to choose a school when going off to college for you or your young one, and when you are trying to choose the best wizarding school for you or your young witch or wizard, it can be even more difficult. But there's no reason to sweat about it.
This is Africa, dear boy. Sweating is what we do.
That's right, because today we are talking about the school in Africa. And this school is very unique in many ways to the wizarding world. The school itself was founded about 1,000 years ago, putting it roughly at the same time as Hogwarts. And it may even be older than Hogwarts itself.
This forest is old.
And something to note, which we talked about in our previous video of Babajide Academy and how it was actually a larger school for student population. This school is actually the largest student population out of any wizarding school.
Size matters not.
Something very unique for this school, guys, is something that we saw in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, the initial movie, as well as the book, a physical letter invitation delivered by Al to the family. This school breaks that. First off, did anybody notice that Harry Potter is this amazing seeker, right? He's supposed to be able to grab this snitch, really, really hard thing to get, and he can't grab one letter out of the thousands falling from the sky. It took him forever to actually grab a letter. Did anybody notice this? Or was that just me? Now back to this school when it comes to invites. They actually will have a dream that features the headmaster or the headmistress who comes to them in a dream and tells them that they are accepted to this school of witchcraft and wizardry. You might be sitting and thinking, oh, my kid dreamed about, this school. He must be accepted there. So there's probably some kids who have false dreams about it because their parents mention it.
Yes, maybe it's a false positive.
However, the thing that separates this from falsely thinking that you're going to the school because you had a dream is the fact that when you wake up, you actually have something that was given to you in the dream. Usually in the form of a token that is provided by the headmaster or headmistress, so you wake up with that in your hand. Bringing this to reality and letting you and your family know you are accepted to this special school of witchcraft and wizardry.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Now, what else was special about this school? Well, something not necessarily about the school, but more about the region. Wands were something that was typically from the European heritage. Something in the U.S. that was, brought over from Europe when Overmori was founded by, European things like that. But then most of your other schools are getting wands from the European culture, and that's where they're using wand magic. However, they do not like to do wand magic. They prefer wandless magic. It is something that they enjoy a lot more. So you'll typically see them doing their magic by pointing a finger.
Now that's rude.
Or using hand gestures. We think of this like Doctor Strange from the MCU. Absolutely amazing when you think about this, because other schools, just like Mahuta Koro from 7 to 11 practices wandless magic, but then they start using wands, right? To me, this is no different than a computer as opposed to a calculator. This is no different than a computer as opposed to a book. You are using another piece of technology, another tool to elevate you to the next level. Now, it's not to say that this school is below the standard of other schools. It actually means that these students will not have the crutch of a wand to rely on. If their wand were to break, they have wandless magic. They don't need it. This is something very unique for the school, and it's interesting. What is your take? I would love to hear in the comments. Do you think that because they practice wandless magic and don't really like to do magic with wands, does it make them more natural witches and wizards with their magic use? Or do you think it's something where the wand is just a tool to elevate what you're doing? Love to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comments down below. Let us know what you think. As far as the academics, guys, two big things here at this school. One of them is astronomy. Now, astronomy in the wizarding world is very similar to the Muggle world. The only difference is that they have some other constellations that they've identified. It's not to say that Muggles won't be able to catch up with technology over the years, though. So it's just interesting that they do practice astronomy, and it's very similar of a subject when it comes to astronomy in the wizarding world as it is to the Muggle world. The other thing that really sets this school apart is transfiguration. This school in Africa is actually the top school when it comes to transfiguration. Transfiguration was a specialty so much at this school that by the age of 14, okay, we're talking about barely even a teenager, you have the ability to transfigure and become an Animagi. That is something out of the norm, okay, in the wizarding world at that young of an age. It's a very hard practice. It's something that takes very detailed, specific rituals, and one wrong thing can lead to disastrous effects. Worrisome so much that in 2016, okay, at the International Symposium of Animagi, the school attracted a lot of press. Maybe Rita Skeeter, maybe somebody else, who knows, when an entire classroom of students synchronized transformations. That was something that caused a lot of concern. Older witches and wizards concerned that teenagers are able to turn into cheetahs, elephants, other African animals at will. And a formal complaint was actually lodged against the school. Now, we don't know exactly what happened to the school. We don't know what sanctions and things came down against the school, because as you guys know, being an Animagi is something where you have to register. They have to know that you are an Animagi, things like that. And that's why Sirius, he was unregistered. Babajide Akingbade, okay, I know I probably mispronounced that, but Babajide Akingbade was the most famous wizard to actually come from this school, okay? Graduated from this school, and then he actually went on to supersede Albus Dumbledore as the Supreme Mugwump. For those of you who don't know what the Mugwump is, that is the position that Grindelwald was trying to get to in Fantastic Beasts, where, you know, the animal bows its head to declare him at that level. It's actually the highest rank in the wizarding world, and Albus Dumbledore did hold that rank until this gentleman came by and superseded him. The reason why he superseded Albus Dumbledore is because people stopped voting for Albus Dumbledore because he sat and gave a big public speech out there about Lord Voldemort's return.
The evidence that the Dark Lord has returned.
People did not like that. They were scared of it, just like the British Minister of Magic. What does that tell us? That means that this school is second to none. It does wandless magic. I would imagine that that means wandless magic is not a crutch. That would mean that wands do not make your power even stronger unless maybe it's the Elder Wand. But anyway, let us know what you guys think. What did you think of this video? Do you like this school down in Africa? Would you like to send your kids there? Ultimately, I think there's some really cool things about this school, but unless my kids want to become an Animagi, I think we're going to stick with our other route of sending them to Mahutakoro from 7 to 11, going to Hogwarts after that, and maybe doing some exchange programs with some other schools that we've talked about on the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you did appreciate this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. You don't go to a restaurant and get your food and eat it and not pay. You don't watch the YouTube video without hitting that like button or subscribe button. It's pretty much the same thing. For you, it's not very much, but for us, it does mean a lot. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again on the next video. Christ is King. Snitch. Grabber. Babajide.
Liberty Bibberty.
Bibby Babbity Boo. Uagadou School. Sorry for my Sorry.